Plant it and it shall grow into something special.
Plant it in your eyes.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome back to another Lost the Plot video. Yes, we are all back together and we are all sat round our table on our squeaky chairs in the echoey kitchen. We are trying to figure out the audio. We have had some technical problems, but hopefully the audio might be better, but sod it, we're still going to make the video. Choo choo, all aboard. But start as we mean to go on. James, unpopular opinion, go.
I would apologise straight off the bat because I know you're not going to like this one at all. But then, you know what? I don't give a fuck. You ready? Barbecue sauce is highly overrated.
You. I'm trying to not use expletives. You're not a nice person for saying that. I can't believe you've done this.
Is that your favourite sauce?
I think so.
It's up there for me.
Yeah, I think so. Just under chipotle.
Ooh.
I like chipotle sauce, but barbecue's the
Is this going to be?
balls.
Is this
Why? Why is it?
It's that, I don't know, it's the smokiness thing. It always repeats on me for a start.
What do you mean repeats on you?
Like, just makes me feel a bit sick and everything.
Yeah, okay.
Like, it's way too overpowering. It's that weird sort of, I don't know, what's the word? It's like...
So if it didn't make you want to vomit, you might like it.
Oh, you could say that
There's
about
probably,
a lot.
There's a lot of things, yeah, really. That's a bit...
Well.
Well, you know what? If the smell of shit didn't make you want to vomit, it'd be fine, yeah.
I can't eat nuts, but yeah. I'll be able to eat them.
Yeah, yours is not vomit. Yours is death.
Oh, wow, no.
Yeah, I suppose it's
Close.
Is it like the opposite? Well, it's probably is the opposite of vomit. 'Cause people would think the opposite of vomit is eat it, but it's like it's the same action, but rather than letting things out, you'd probably swell up and you can't actually.
Technically, the opposite to vomit is also suppositories. If we're going that way.
Yeah. Basically, opposites aren't what people.
This is the new direction we're going in, guys, by the way. You thought you were here to watch like bloody film reviews now.
Yeah. Right. That's utter shit.
It's not.
It's probably genetic because my opinion of it is just like, yeah, it's okay.
Do you agree or disagree with that
It's literally
statement?
just okay.
No. I want a definitive answer.
No, I don't say I'm not. I'm not saying I'm not giving an answer to the question. I'm saying I just find barbecue sauce okay.
So, what was your statement? Barbecue sauce is overrated.
Yeah, quite highly.
Do you think it's overrated?
Yeah.
You're a tosser.
Because it's overrated. Why would someone like hype something like that up to a point that it is?
Condiments are just game changing.
I think I never had it to that point. Like that point when I first tried it, it was like everyone's like, "Well, have you not had barbecue sauce before?" I was like, "All right, it must be something amazing," and it was just such a letdown. It was like, "This is not at all what I was hoping for."
Right, James and
it's
Tom.
like they've actually took the flavour of the bottom of the barbecue and gone, "There you go, actual smoky ash bit."
You two aren't allowed to talk for the rest of the video now.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's probably.
I ain't got a lot to say about this one anyway.
Right. That's James' unpopular opinion. Please comment if you think it's utter bullshit as well, as do me and Matthew. Before we get into the video, please make sure you like, you subscribe, pass it to a friend if you find it entertaining, and please don't turn off just because you like barbecue sauce. Ignore James and Tom. They're idiots. Anyway, so on with the video, gentlemen. Today, as the title suggests, we are going to be doing our special little review of Doctor Strange into the Multiverse of Not into.
No,
I'm going into the Spider-Verse.
Now that looks like a lot of fun.
That's a better film.
That is.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse, and the Multiverse. Fucking hell, I'll put my teeth in a minute. And the Multiverse of Madness. There you go.
In the meh.
Doctor Strange 2. Right. All I want is a rating. So a number out of 10. That's all I want. That's all we're going to start with. Just to sort of gauge where we're at with the film. We'll start from Tom.
This
Just a
is
number out of 10.
It's the bit I'm really not sure about what you guys will have done.
Number out of 10, go.
7.
James?
5.
I'm a 6.
7.5.
Okay. So that's quite an
It's fairly
even.
similar.
Yeah.
It's not.
There's not much
massively
dispersion there, is there? It's
Yeah.
quite close together. I feel like 7.5 is the anomaly in those.
different. But my 7.5 is kind of.
Wait, it is just a sliding scale. But I feel like it's going to be quite clear what side of the line we all lie on.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel we had this conversation earlier, didn't we? Ratings and a person's ratings is different. Like my 6 just means it was
hearing you
average.
say 6.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I know what you're thinking now.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't before.
Yeah. Right, interesting. So, the way this video is going to be structured is we're going to talk about the positives first, which probably sounds like it's going to be me, Tom, and Matt, and then the negatives, which will be dominated, absolutely dominated by James, as we should probably imagine anyway, especially after your barbecue sauce remark, you twat.
We'll convert him. Don't
Yeah, no, we won't. I don't
No, we
think we
really
will.
won't.
Right, positives. Let's go, Matthew. Positive. Give us a positive.
The massive positive of this film is Wanda as the main villain.
Agreed.
That is the best part of the film for me, easily.
I agree with that statement.
I really like how they developed her character from WandaVision and the payoff from this film. I feel like most of the MCU villains are generic, boring, apart from maybe like a couple standouts. And Wanda's one of the standouts because she has character depth. You understand why she's doing what she's doing. You kind of feel for her, but you understand why she's wrong at the same time. It's the best storytelling for a villain.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I feel like the fact that she's already established in the MCU helps the fact that it was a success, her being the villain, because we already have that knowledge of her. You don't have to this fucking origin story or whatever and why they've turned bad. We know that because we've already got that depth of the character. I agree, gentlemen. How about yourselves? I feel like Wanda was a positive, a big plus.
Love Wanda. It's brilliant.
Yeah, she was great.
You did like some.
I did, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, she's one of my favourite MCU characters anyway.
Yeah.
So, that was always going to be a big thing for me. The fact that she was obviously going to play a massive part. And, going on that, actually, I like the fact that in the trailers you couldn't tell if she was going to be a major villain sort of thing. And actually her becoming almost quite instantly, it was like, oh shit, right, she's the main
I didn't
villain
think
here.
she was going to be. I thought she was going to be maybe a little teaser turn in and then eventually help him again. But they stuck
especially
with
with how quick it happened.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, this is going to be a turnaround. Like you got that camouflage scene. I was thinking, well, this is going to happen. This is going to turn very quick.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot more to go. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Like she's like, I love the fact that she was in it, and I think when you knew she was in it, there was that my expectation going in. It's not that it surprised me once I realised what story they're going with, but actually, her playing as prominent as role as she did, I thought she was maybe going to be in it. Maybe just for the start. Maybe it's just this odd little appearance.
Yeah.
But for her to have such a prominent role, I did not expect that. And it was a better part.
Yeah, that camouflage scene was brilliant. I feel like it made her seem powerful, but not overpowered to the sense where it was ridiculous.
Because it wasn't stupid stuff that was happening.
Yeah.
And that sort of changes later. But in a depiction of how she maybe reacts to things, like you were literally dealing with her at her worst in the sense where she wasn't even. You were literally being told she's not right, but she's also being affected and corrupted by something else.
Yeah.
But you're still getting a display of how she responds, not rationally and not reasonably, like she was saying, but
It's perfectly
she
reasonable.
sees
Tom.
her
Shut your mouth.
she sees her logic of the fact that she's not just gonna like blast everything or scream and destroy everything in like how she did in like Age of Ultron, because that was when she was younger, she was grieving, it was just rage. This was right, I'm thinking, how do I take on like an army? Hence why the bits where she's maybe getting into their heads works so well for that.
I agree, Matt. That's a very good start. Wanda is absolutely brilliant in this film. Thomas, You got another positive for us, throwing it out there.
I'll go general because I've got a couple of specifics, but
Go on.
The general bit is like no question of authorship of this film. Like, I don't know enough of Sam Raimi's work, but it's pretty easy to know it's their film, which says a lot for an MCU film, I'd say, because you only get these odd ones where you can think, right, they're not trying to keep the line going and blend in a bit too much. This was, yes, we are MCU. We can accept the fact with that, but that doesn't stop us from really putting our fingerprint on what this is.
I feel like having Sam Raimi as the director was quite positive in the sense that we, as fans of the MCU, we're going to get something different to what we've already had.
Regardless of what you
felt
about that.
The only problem that I had with that is that sometimes in Sam Raimi films, we had this conversation, is that there are cheesy moments in there that don't need to be in there. Like with this Doctor Strange film, it's a positive in the sense that it was different, but it's a negative for me in the sense that I didn't feel like it was dark enough. Yeah. And there were too many moments where it was cheesy, especially regarding that specific character. Even though I love her, but I can do this all day, suck my balls, no one cares. You know what I mean? Like,
you're going to fall into line. Like I said, like I don't know enough about, other than to say it's obvious who made this film, but it's a case of you're going to fall into a couple of different camps. It's either going to be, if you can recognise that this is a style someone's going for, you're either going to like it or not.
Yeah,
that's clearly what his kind of film is, but there's a large majority, I think, watching this who are maybe sort of casual audiences, families, this kind of thing, and that again is you're going to fall into two camps. You're either going to be really thrown off by what they're doing, or it really works well for you're just going to enjoy this because it's non-stop and it's stupid and it's mad.
Yeah.
And that clearly
like
works.
What you've done there, Tom.
Just based with just based on the experience we got with some of the people that were around us, and it was the first time we were in like a full cinema screen for like ages now, and to sort of have that awareness of what people were reacting like, you could definitely see some people, it really melded for like that. Oh, I'm just going to have this wash over me because it's a stupid Marvel film.
Yeah.
And that yes, as much as I'm saying the positive at the start, that's where the negative comes in. Because to me, it's just like, that's how it's going to be received. It's just, oh, you don't have to think about it because it's daft. Whereas that'd be fine for the right sort of thing. But maybe I didn't want that for Doctor Strange.
I like it. Two good points, guys.
Does James have a positive?
Do you know what? You took it out of my mouth.
Well, I was going to tie it in with like yours,
Wonder,
obviously. Yeah, the Wonder thing. That was sort of one of my bigger ones. Some, not all, but some of the costume designs on some of them, like Strange and Mordo.
Yeah, okay, fair point.
That'll get into
the
negatives, but yeah, some of them.
Yeah, we can pull back into that. Some being the operative word there.
Bit of Lamar, 50-50 that.
Yeah, Mordo especially looked cool as hell. That was so cool.
Yeah.
Yes, I like that.
And it threw you off because, literally, like I said, I think my excitement was the fact that in the trailer you thought, right, we're getting, like, maybe he didn't blip away. Maybe he's been, because of this whole blip, like, this whole thing of just, like, you saw it and you thought, like, well, that's going to come into the negatives now, but it's a case of, like, that they glossed over that, like the ending of that felt rushed. The ending of Doctor Strange, where you knew he'd turned, that scene felt rushed, and I think a lot of people agree. They were just like, oh, we get it. We knew this was going to sort of be this character that sways between the two, but the fact that they put it in there, you thought, oh great, well, he's just going to be the next villain or something. Yep. But then you see him in this trailer, and you thought, okay, they've gone way past that because it's been years, but it's a case of we still haven't known where that's gone, and then you just get a throwaway line explaining that.
Yeah.
But that's further on.
I just thought it looked cool.
No, I agree. I feel like the cinematography was the bollocks throughout the whole film. To be fair, even in the bits that weren't particularly good, I feel like the cinematography was still really good.
Sam
It still
Raimi's
fits
good at
into
that.
the extremes.
Yeah,
though, like,
Yeah.
He likes to make it look pretty, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Sam Raimi, even though
There
it
was,
is
yeah. There's
dark.
a lot going
there
on.
was a couple of like.
But that's the idea.
No, I know.
Mind fucking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, there you go. Then there's something.
even
then
that-
it served its purpose in that sense.
There you go.
Straight from the off, I was like, I generally like it was like bloody hell. Like we were quite close to the screen. It was a fucking big screen, and yeah, that initial sort of like, oh, it comes up with a 12A rating and everything, and then bang, and I was like, shit.
Straight
Oh,
into
that's
it.
Whoa, whoa,
Big bright lights
fuck
running.
me.
That's one of my more specific positives, though, is the fact that opening.
Yeah, I love how they've just thrown
again,
it straight
people
in.
are either going to
Actually.
hate it or like it, but yeah, it literally set the intention of you're not going to be able to sit for a minute. Like you are literally, if you don't like this, just you got no choice. Like you're in it now.
Yeah.
No, I did like that. It was just sort of like
It's one of the better openings.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
it's better
Opening
than
a
some
film
of it.
like that's better because it sort of shocks the audience into thinking,
Absolutely.
"Shit, right, I've got to pay attention now." There's no slow build up.
Yeah.
It's right.
Yeah.
We're in it. We're there. We're paying attention. This is exactly what's happening, and it's sort of the start of it. I think it's the poem that I've just annotated. It's my year 10s actually.
There we go.
Bayonet charge.
No idea what
That's
is. Okay.
that starts off straight into the action. The reason for it is to sort of show the chaos of war, and this is a little bit similar to show how chaotic this film is going to be throughout the rest of the film. I like it.
I think it led me astray a bit too much, is the fact that it displayed that this idea that you were. It wasn't trying to get you to
Play.
yeah. No, just make me stop because I've already
You
said
didn't have to
I've
make
already
you
said
stop.
can
You
go
did that
stop.
yourself, man.
Because as soon as I started, all I was thinking was that, and I'm just gonna have to like force it myself, and I'm just gonna get us to move on.
Matt, any more positives? 7.5.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Go on.
I liked the horror elements to it. I wish there was more, but I do like how.
Okay, thank you for ending that sentence. I wish there was more.
Just thought of something.
I wish there was more because I really liked how different it was from other MCU good tone, funny comedy films that light-hearted. I liked how it was dark and there was a couple jump scares and tension building scenes that I thought Sam Raimi did really well, and I wish it was throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
Granted, but I did like when they used it, and it was refreshing to see it in the MCU.
Agreed.
They
I
did
feel
it
like
enough,
it was unfortunate that they only really used it when Wanda was involved. Quite a lot of the time.
They could
A
have.
lot of the time,
Been
but there
smarter
was
with it.
sort of instances where it could have just been that. If the whole film was like that, I feel like it would have been amazing. Like a bit like Batman versus Superman. People's only just start appreciating how dark that is. This could have been dark and just turn it into sort of similar to a horror.
Like it literally got market. They said it. Oh, it's a
Marvel's
horror
first ever
film.
horror.
And I was
or
like,
some
and
shit.
everyone was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be.
Yeah.
The
I think there
title.
was go on.
The when it says like 12A, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I look down and it just says the first warning was moderate horror, and I was just like, moderate. It's going to be very mild.
Literally
horror.
turned to me. That's exactly what you said, didn't you? Sorry,
Like
that's bullshit.
it's the horror you get in like Harry Potter.
They were
Yeah,
scared
no,
to
yeah,
commit
it
to
was.
it because
Yeah.
I feel like they felt people weren't gonna like it if there wasn't a few jokes in it because people.
But
go
that's what
only-
you
Yeah,
can get in
but-
horror. Like you can get
They were
like
scared to
comedy because
fully
that's what
commit
it
to
is.
it.
Yeah.
which I don't like because they did it with Moon Knight as well, where they were scared to fully commit to
So
what they were going with. They had to bring in this
Just-
element of
Yeah.
horror and cheesiness to it.
Oh, I was saying it's like
no, not horror. Jokey cheesiness to
I
it.
think I said to you earlier, it's like since Endgame, they just feel like they're constantly hitting the panic button, like, oh shit, what we need to even it all out, or there needs to be a bit of everything to cover our arse on everything, because it could go one way or the other now, because we've used all the big guns. They've all been used up now.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Shit, what are we gonna do with this lot?
Yeah.
Shit.
But
Yeah,
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 they,
yeah,
if they
yeah.
just have confidence in it, they'd
Yeah,
be able to
and
do
if
it.
that's the
And
thing.
But that
how can they not be? Because they've got, but it's just these things. They got so much money and so much big attention.
Done it before with
Yeah,
Guardians
but
and took a
they just
risk. and
don't
stuff
wanna
like
do
that.
it
Take a risk
for
of all
some
these
reason.
other
But it's
things.
like I said this to James earlier. Phase 1, 2, and 3 were so good because it built and developed characters into this big crescendo at the end. Whereas now, Phase 4 started as sort of like a fresh start, but we've not had a fresh start. It's done Black Widow. It's then done a Spider-Man film where it's had everybody from past Spider-Man films, so there's no fresh start there until the end of it where he's on his own. Even this one, they've used cameos from old Marvel people, superheroes like Charles Xavier.
Stuff even not that long ago.
Yeah.
Which
and
seems ridiculous.
Wrapping up sort of Wanda's storyline from Endgame, which started at Endgame.
I don't feel like it's wrapped up though.
Well, that comes into like my sort of like.
How is it not?
She's not dead.
Well,
and she's obviously still going to want her children.
That's going to be a much bigger thing.
Yeah, I did.
Well,
I was hoping they just.
I
like her, but I hope she's kind of dead.
Well, she's not, definitely not. Elizabeth Olsen said that she wants one of the last lines that she wants to utter in the Marvel universe is "No more mutants."
Yeah.
So there's obviously going to be some storyline involving in the comics where she tries to eliminate every single mutant on the earth, but I don't think they can afford to do that. I know, but I don't think they can afford to do that when they've only just got the rights to X-Men.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, and Fantastic Four. You're not going to do that.
To be fair, she's holding back, but I don't think
that character's too big a name for him to just let go straight away. This soon after Endgame and that.
Yeah.
Could be another universe wonder that they bring into it.
Just stop fucking with the multiverse.
No, but I was waiting for more of that in this, to be fair, because the only one we got, and I feel like this is going to bring up someone's negatives. I don't know. Are we on negatives now? I think we're on negatives.
We're just sort of flowing naturally into negatives, aren't we?
Really?
Unless you got a positive.
Well, just one thing that sort of goes
in.
Because it was like the one bit that was like I was bringing it up because it was like the best bit I thought, and it was only one tiny little bit in the film where Wanda first possesses the alternate one. And there's the fourth wall break when she looked dead on the camera. Yeah. That was one of the coolest things.
Like that was the peak of that. But that
and I know it's literally a split second of the film.
Those scenes.
James's rating is 5.1.
That's 5 out of 10. That is.
I don't know how intelligent it was.
Yeah.
5.1 out of 10.
0.1.
We're slowly going up because you've named 2 positives now.
All right.
Which is 2 more than we thought you were going to bring to the table.
Enough. All right, I'll let you have that one.
5.1.
I'll let you have that.
Get in. Anything else before we move on to negatives?
Do you want to give a positive?
You've sort of done mine. I like America Chavez. I like the fact that they've...
Okay, good. I felt like for some reason I was on my own with that.
No. I like that they brought her in. I liked her as a character. The way that she was acted and portrayed throughout the film was good. I felt like it matched the tone well. And I like the fact that she wasn't too cheesy throughout it. The cheesy lines mainly come from other characters, not just necessarily her.
Which again works well with that opening and the introduction.
Exactly. Well, it was a serious opening to her as a character, which made you think, shit, what is going on? And then you sort of realised who she was.
And I think they did it in such a way where they didn't take away from her, but it was her story told through Doctor Strange, Wanda, and all the other people they met.
Last one before we move on to negatives. Black Bolt's death is brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop. I loved how sudden it was, and I was expecting a massive fight between them two.
He can kill you with one whisper.
The rest of it,
no, he's dead.
Out of all the rest of it, that was the one where it had
a
bit more impact, and it wasn't like the rest of it was obviously fun if you were to view it in a certain way, but that almost looked had some just enough realism into it where you actually just whoever was watching it would have just felt a bit of something.
Yeah.
And just the way they'd framed that.
Even the evil Doctor Strange being thrown out the window and landing on the gate spikes was a bit shocking to me. I was not expecting to land there. Yeah. I thought he was going to land on the floor and sort of try and grab Christine or something, but straight on the fence. Thanks for coming. See you later. Third Eye. Hello. Welcome to the party, Agamotto.
Third Eye, man.
Third Eye. That's what you call you Jeb End, isn't it?
Fucking Third Eye.
Is it?
See, that's
some people do.
Apparently they do.
Benders.
Yeah.
I'm calling Agamotto from now on. Right, moving on to negatives. Because we've rinsed positives. It's a good film, by the way, if you haven't already said. Right, negatives. Can I start with a negative, please, everybody?
No.
Tough shit. The Illuminati were introduced, and in my opinion, the Illuminati were underwhelming. They were shit, and it included a couple of cameos that were not needed and were awful, especially that universe's Captain Marvel, hate her with a passion. Patrick Stewart coming back, you should have stayed at home, mate, waste of time. John Krasinski as Reed Richards, I thought it looked like he was done as like a reshoot because he looked just distant from everyone else. He didn't like he belonged there.
Yeah.
And who else is in it? That's it, really, isn't it? Yeah, I liked her, to be fair, but I didn't like her sort of... I got excited about him because I thought, oh, Inhumans, and it was something different, but then, obviously, he can't talk or do it. He just died, didn't he?
I'm not saying this is where I what I actually think with it, but just saying that they're underwhelming. Devil's advocate, was that not the intention? Do you
I'd hope so.
I thought the intention was to build Wanda up.
I really hope it was just intentional, and there's a lot of problems I still have with it being intention, but it just seems like it's a better alternative than them being this integral part of the story that took up most of the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to think that because it's, I mean, obviously then they're throwing them in there to sort of tease them, oh, these characters will be there in the normal universe.
Well, that's what Reed Richards was.
Yeah.
All the rest of them,
yeah.
you had What If Captain Carter that wasn't the What If Captain Carter, but she was the one she was the one that everyone was getting so excited about because it's quite fresh in people's minds. And then really he was the only one where it's like all these other ones are different versions, but the one you will see in the MCU is going to be very similar to this one.
Yeah.
So I definitely hope they change his bloody costume.
That comes back to the costumes, the other side of the costumes.
The other side of the costumes thing, yeah. His CGI thing going on, that just, like we said, I think we said earlier, it looked like, I don't know if they were trying to just keep him under wraps, the fact that he was going to appear in it, and fair play, they did a good job of that. But if they just did him his scene like very sort of last minute, and they went, oh shit, we've got to do this a bit quick, lads.
But even if they do the whole suit CGI to enable him to stretch and use his power, he only ever used it once, so you didn't need to CGI him for the whole thing.
But it didn't. It looked practical at one point, but very bad.
Yeah.
Like it looked like
very thrown together,
plasticky, like it was. And not even like how you would have expected it to fit.
It just feels like that was a bit of a rush job.
Yeah.
It was like, shit, we've got to make this look cool and we need him in there because obviously their film's coming up in the next few years. Let's just tease him now, quick.
Yeah.
They were just there for the sake of it, weren't they?
Yeah.
Bit of a money grab. Put them in the trailer, tease them in the trailer, everyone goes, oh, yes.
Like, if that wasn't
rolling
a
off the
thing,
Spider-Man nostalgia bollocks.
If it wasn't trying to basically say this is the actor you're getting to play Reed Richards. If it wasn't that, what would have fit better in that movie would have been the Welsh guy.
Oh, the original. Is it Owen Grufford or something?
It is Owen, I think, but
it is Owen, isn't it?
It's a lot of vowels.
I don't know. I can't remember.
But yeah, him being the jaded one that's like, he's older, he's literally allowed Doctor Strange of his universe to be fucking obliterated in front of him. All of these things, he would have maybe fit that role a bit better.
Yeah.
Nothing against John Krasinski though, one of the greatest actors.
No, like with a lot of people, and a lot of people in this movie, they dealt with what they had really well, but what they had in certain places wasn't.
I'll tell you who's not a good actress.
Right.
The actress for Monica, Captain Marvel. She was shit.
See,
I hated
I hated her.
Her acting was so bad. I don't know if it was the line she was given, but it all fell.
That was the worst line of the movie for me. The "get out of my universe" bit.
Yeah.
And she died by a statue falling on her.
Yeah, that isn't.
That would have happened to Carol.
But
that's it. That isn't a Captain Marvel.
No,
that's not just Carol, because that also, like I said to you, it just basically it gives all the people that argue against, say, sometimes rightfully about, say, the treatment of Captain Marvel and say things like Endgame, where it was just she wasn't a character, she was a thing. But if this Captain Marvel, just showing a different Captain Marvel, if this Captain Marvel had actually like stood around and been able to do something more than just get squished by like a statue, it would have supported the idea that, oh, okay, this is what their abilities actually are. They're not just this throwaway sort of badass, because some people like badass, but basically it's just, if that's all it is, that's just stupid.
It felt like it made a bit of a mockery of an actual normal universe character.
Yeah,
that way.
Yeah.
I feel like it made us appreciate
it
her
was,
a lot more because how shit she was.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I
just
also
for the
thought,
actor herself, I was like,
hell.
this just
That's what
makes
you
you look
get.
silly in this
Yeah,
film
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're actually really good because you like your character served a really good sort of thing in Captain Marvel.
yeah.
Their purpose, whatever
That
you want to call it.
points out like that with the Illuminati, be it the fight scene, whatever. It's a case of just so say the brutal, over the top fights. It's a case of, oh yeah, look, we're actually doing this. But yeah, you're doing it to all your. It's not your main. It's not our main characters. All our main ones, they're going to be fine. Like after maybe a saga of movies, we'll take the main one and they'll have a big sacrifice and stuff. But other than that, you're just going to get these odd little multiversal trips where it's like, oh yeah, this is literally, we're going to kill off this character, we're going to kill off this one. But to us, it doesn't mean anything. And that's where that fight fell flat. Like I was glad to see it, but at the same time, I was like, it doesn't really mean it. It doesn't really have anything in it anymore. Because
another negative, and I need to say it because it's the first thing I said when the film finished. The pacing halfway through that film was fucking diabolical, in the sense that
keep going. Cause I love when people say pacing. I get kind of like.
No story was allowed to properly develop because they were following Doctor Strange and they were following Wanda, and then Wanda found the shit Wonder Gore, whatever the fuck it's called.
Wonder Core.
And
My God. Sorry.
We'll get onto that in a minute.
I forgot about that.
Well, she found that, and then it got like, okay, this is quite interesting. And then it got to a point, and it went, okay, so we're going to Doctor Strange now. And then that sort of built up, and then it stopped it. And then it went back to Wanda, back to square fucking one. And then we're going to build that up, and then we're going to change it to Doctor Strange, and then we're going to build that up. If they'd have just allowed the stories to go, the pacing would have been a lot better because we would have appreciated it when they actually ended becoming at the same place as it was. Wanda could have figured all that shit out and allowed her story arc to sort of develop a little bit more and be a little bit clearer. And then once that had finished, they could have gone to Doctor Strange, where he was with America, and gone, right, okay, let that develop. And at the end, because we know Wanda is dream walking, Wanda appears, and then it sort of flicks back to that. Because the pacing, it didn't allow anyone to fucking enjoy what was happening, because it was too stop, start. I thought, fuck me, I'm going to lose my head in a minute. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
I did spend a lot of the movie just going, what?
That was the main part of the film that pissed me off.
It made it feel like a massive bit of a clusterfuck for most of it for me. So I'm sort of with you on that.
I get irritated when people talk about pacing either fast or slow or whatever, but when they say it's like a negative. But as you finish that in saying the sort of the culmination of that, like where does it lead? Where does it go? I get that, but it's like it's in the sense where this was a movie where if I was to see the pacing in a good light, it's a case of all the idiots basically that were moaning about the length of the Batman film and just basically calling it pacing problems and stuff. This is the movie for you. Like, it's literally like you will not sit for a second. It's just you're constantly getting thrown stuff. So you basically you'd both be wrong for actually just saying that that's pacing. But yeah, you're not wrong for saying what you're saying.
I was going to say I was going to throw a right hook at you then for a moment.
No.
Sorry, I'm not going to lie. Any more negatives before we wrap up? Because there's quite a few, but we're just sort of trying to limit it a little bit.
The script was a little bit sloppy in some cases.
Yes.
There was. Do you know the bit with America and Doctor Strange? They moved to another world, and then they accidentally.
Which one out of the 27?
There's only 3. I'd like to point out they actually only go to 3.
Sorry, yeah.
They just move through all of them. They land on one and they accidentally walk on this button, which activates a memory charm from Doctor, and they're all just standing there watching it. And then they do it for America, and they just stand there. And I just think if they'd have just had a conversation about their past and like shown a flashback during the conversation, it would have had more weight to it.
That, and it would have developed the characters' relationship more, wouldn't it? Instead of
there was nothing natural to it, and then he says that line afterwards, and she's like, she compliments him, like, oh, that was good, and he's like, oh, was it? He's just trying to be like, and that sums up that writing, but this really simplistic story they went with the case of pretending he was. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the
simplistic story.
Yeah, because this is what I'm
He's
saying.
just said it's a mind fuck.
This is not. This
Not
is
in,
not
in the just in the
No,
this is not a thinkers movie. This is just like people who want to be fed stuff, and it's this whole thing with particularly Doctor Strange's movie. They're trying to like speedrun the fact that he hasn't really developed much. Like he had the origin, and then it's just he's Doctor Strange and stuff. So they're trying to like give him that sort of connection, the relatability, and all that is basically this kind of men have feelings too kind of thing. And it's just like, yeah, you literally had Iron Man 3 that gets shat on all the time, and you literally have Iron Man, the character that everyone loved at that point, but he's this billionaire rock star, and he's literally having panic attacks and losing his whole mind. But it's just like, we're going to act like that never happened. And yeah, so it's just like this, it's just that one question you're left with, just like, bro, are you happy? Like,
I wasn't.
that's the first
If anything, I felt nothing.
That's the first thing I asked him afterwards.
Yeah.
It seemed relevant. But it's all they asked. And it's a case of like, yeah, we understand this now, but apparently we are just all mainstream casuals. And I just got to that question as like, that's the biggest negative from it. I looked at it, I was just like, are we a joke to you? We as in probably Marvel fans, but fans of just these movies. But the answer for a long time has been definitely yes. Of course we're a joke. And it's not looking good.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way for me to actually sum up that film is just it generally made me feel nothing. Like instead of me going and like at least most Marvel films, I'm more of a like yes when I watch it, or as with the past couple, I'm just pure anger. This it was just literally just smack bang in the middle. Just okay, it's there. I've watched it now. Doesn't really affect me at all. Doesn't really feel like it's done a lot as a whole.
Yeah.
For this thing, this whole universe thing, this whole multiverse thing, and it just didn't really feel like it made an impact on me at all.
No, do you know what? I feel sort of similar. Yeah.
I want to go watch a Marvel film and feel excited or something. Like
The thing that made me feel the most was Wanda and her, like the emotional bit at the end for her. That was the bit that brought this rating up for me. But yeah, I can understand why from a Doctor Strange point of view you'd feel that.
I still feel like as one of the main characters of the MCU currently, he's falling a little bit flat, or he's not carrying his weight, or there's something that people don't like, or I don't know what it is, but I can't see him being one of the main guys for the MCU for much longer successfully.
I can't see it. It's not got the longevity of like Iron Man and
but no one's talked about any of Doctor Strange's films or cameos or parts have gone, that was unreal. Yeah. Whereas the big hitters we had before, Thor raved about, Ragnarok, unbelievable. Then when he was in Infinity War, unreal as well. Even his first film was good. And then you've got Iron Man, started it all off. It was brilliant through every single film he was in, even though the second and the third fell a little bit flat, a little bit boring. Captain America, big hitter. Black Widow, big hitter. Hulk, even in the first Avengers film, was interesting. People talked about him and felt it. Whereas Doctor Strange, I just feel like people talk about everyone else in his films other than himself.
We were saying earlier, you like Wong comes on, you're more invested in Wong really.
But it's like Doctor Strange film, Wanda's the best thing.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange film, I preferred Wong when he was on the screen with Doctor Strange. The first one, you're mainly focusing on the Sorcerer Supreme, Tilda Swinton, and Mordo, because he was a little bit more interesting in that sense. I just don't feel he can hold that.
That says a bit more about Wong in this one, is the fact that as great as it was, it's almost symptomatic, is the fact that they've just realised, because they literally admitted it, they're just like, oh yeah, we cast Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, so yeah, Wong's going to be the Sorcerer Supreme now, and he's going to get a lot of attention. So it's a good thing, but you know their main intention is, we don't want to piss off Asians again. It's just like, that's literally where they sort of got at, because they knew they were getting a load of shit thrown their way.
But yeah, I just don't feel like he can hold that mantle.
Development he had in the first film I liked, because he went from being a dick to this. He's more humble and more caring about other people and sort of realising his power. And then in Infinity War, I think is when he peaked, because when he was with the other heroes, he actually felt like the one who knew the most, and the one who like knew he was under control and how to deal with each situation, and was more wise than all the others, and he felt more powerful than all the others. And in this one and in Spider-Man, he's felt less powerful than the other characters in the film, and it's taken away from him a little bit, and he doesn't seem as wise in this one because he doesn't really know what the fuck's going on. So he's kind of like, oh, this book exists, and he doesn't know anything, and it feels like he's just along for the ride like we are.
That, and it's like the other Doctor Stranges knew everything that our one didn't. So what the fuck is our one doing? Because if he's supposed to be the greatest of all of them, Wong seems to know more. And yes, I know he's the Sorcerer Supreme, but that still shouldn't be the case that he knows more than Doctor Strange, because he's supposed to be the fucking figurehead of it all. But he isn't.
Yeah, I feel like they should have left him as the Sorcerer Supreme when he came back. I understand he wasn't there, but I feel like when he came back, Wong should have handed it back over to him.
Well, they use that as a comic relief.
Yeah,
because there's always a joke saying,
"Oh,
I'm the Sorcerer Supreme, you're that way, wanker." You know what I mean? Shut up now.
So,
Should we call it there?
Is that your summary? You summarise. Your summary is just shut up now. Mine is, it's a movie of extremes. It's got some of the best and it's got some of the worst.
Matt, do you want a summary?
I enjoyed it. Slightly above average is a 7.5 for me, as in good but not great. Wanda was class.
Yeah.
Right.
Wanda was class.
Wanda was class. That will do. That's the line to finish. We hope you've enjoyed that. Yes, there's shitloads of spoilers in it, so we apologise. But hey ho, if you're watching this, hopefully you've already watched it. If you've got anything you disagree with, write it down in the comments. If you've got anything you agree with, write it down in the comments. Or if we've not spoken about anything that you so wish to share with us, write it down in the comments and click the like button, click subscribe, share it with a friend. We've got a TikTok, we've got an Instagram, we've got a Facebook page. We're fucking everywhere. We're growing like a tumour. That was probably the wrong anecdote. Bye everybody.